So just a few days ago, the NBA announced who the NBA All-Star starters were going to be for both the Western Conference and Eastern Conference, and very soon they're going to be announcing who made the All-Star team as reserves and wildcards. And I decided now was as good of a time as any to start discussing who I think should make the All-Star team in both the Eastern and Western Conference. I decided I'm going to start in the Eastern Conference, and that's led me to make this video where I'm going to be talking about who I think the reserves in the Eastern Conference should be and why. But before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, if you want to go of 3,000 subscribers, also drop a comment on this video as I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro. The first guy I want to talk about who I think makes the All-Star team is Jayson Tatum, who I think will be the guy to replace Kevin Durant in the starting lineup. Because if you haven't heard, KD is not going to be playing in the All-Star game because of his knee injury, meaning they're going to have to get another forward type player to replace him as a starter. And simply when I look at the Eastern Conference, he is simply the guy to replace KD in that spot. Tatum's a top 20 player in the league, top 5 in his position. He's averaging 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Definitely not a terrible player, and the Celtics are above 500. He definitely should be in the All-Star game. I don't think anyone should disagree with this. So technically, I don't think Jayson Tatum's going to be a reserve. I think he's going to be a starter, meaning that there's still 7 other reserves to choose from, and I think Giannis is going to be the team captain. The first reserve I want to talk about is a guard, the first guard, and that guard is Darius Garland, who I think will make the All-Star team. He's having a breakout season. He's putting up All-Star numbers. He's been the best player on the Cleveland team that has been the most surprising team in the league. Cleveland definitely has to get at least one All-Star on their team, as they are a top 4 seed in their conference at the making of this video, and I think Garland is the most qualified to do that on his roster. He's averaging 20 points and 8 assists, shooting 46% from the field. Definitely All-Star numbers. I don't think there's any doubt about that in my mind that he's definitely an All-Star. He might make it as a wild card, but regardless, he's gonna make the All-Star team. The second reserve I want to talk about is at the other guard position, and to be honest, I almost forgot about this guy, but James Harden is definitely going to make the All-Star team, and it's not going to be as a starter. Obviously he hasn't been great as he has been in previous years. I would argue this is his worst season in the last 5 years, but he's still playing at an All-Star level and borderline superstar level in my opinion. He maybe could have been a starter over Trae Young, but I'm not too mad at it. But Harden is giving you 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists on a team that is winning. He definitely deserves to be an All-Star, especially when you realize that he's actually a superstar. I don't mind the Nets having 2 All-Stars on their team. The first forward I want to talk about who makes the All-Star team is Zach LaVine, and I know you might be thinking, oh, Zach LaVine's a guard, you can't put him at the forward spot. I'm just going off of what NBA.com says, and they say he's a guard and a forward, so I'm assuming he can make it at this position. LaVine definitely has to be an All-Star. He's playing at a great level. He's playing just as good as he was last season, but the difference now is he's actually winning. He's one of the most efficient scorers in the league. He's giving you 25 points, 5 rebounds, shooting 48% from the field and 40% from 3. Definitely All-Star numbers. He definitely is going to be the All-Star team. If he doesn't make it, it's an absolute shame. Also, when you realize the Bulls are a top 3 seed in the conference, they definitely deserve to have 2 All-Stars on their roster, especially with the way him and DeRozan have been playing. The second forward I want to talk about is Jimmy Butler. I almost didn't put Jimmy Butler on this list because he did miss a lot of games, but a lot of the other players I was considering putting over him also had missed some significant time, so it would have been kind of biased to not put Jimmy Butler here. When you realize Miami's literally the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, they have to get an All-Star, and it's not like we're just giving them an All-Star because they're number 1. Jimmy Butler is definitely an All-Star player. You could argue he should have been a starter, I wouldn't agree with you, but you could argue it. We all know how good Jimmy Butler is. So far this season, he's averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 48% from the field. Definitely an all-star, definitely deserves to be on this team. And for the final front court spot, I think I have to put Jarrett Allen here of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's been an anchor to a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference. He's also been putting up some very impressive numbers. There are some other players who I think are better than him that I am leaving off this list. But I think he's playing like an all-star. I think the Cavs have been good enough to where they deserve 2 all-stars. He's giving you 16 points and 11 rebounds this year while anchoring a top 5 defense. This is probably my most controversial pick. I won't even argue with you if you say he shouldn't be here. But I do think Jarrett Allen deserves to be an all-star. And now we get to the wild cards, and my first wild card is going to be Fred VanVleet. VanVleet just has to make the All-Star team. If Fred VanVleet doesn't make the All-Star team, it's just flat out wrong. He's been the best player on a Raptor team that is actually winning games. If you watch games, you can tell he's the best player on this team. He's keeping them afloat. He's also putting up All-Star numbers of 22 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, shooting 40% from 3. He definitely deserves to be an All-Star in my opinion, and I think he will get in by the coaches because like a lot of fans sleep on him. The reason I didn't put VanVleet at one of the guard spots is because I don't think he'll get the votes because he's not crazy popular. But I know Fred VanVleet will be an all-star. He has to be. At my second wildcard spot, I have Lamelo Ball. And to be honest, there are some other players who might be playing better than Lamelo is, but when you look at Charlotte, their roster is like the 7th seed. You just have to give them an all-star. And if a team's winning, I think they deserve at least 1 all-star, unless like they're like really not deserving like to be an all-star. Lamelo has definitely been an all-star level guy. He's putting up 19.7 rebounds, 7 assists, shooting 42% from the field and 36% from 3. Also, when you realize Lamelo probably is a top 10 most popular player in the league, that definitely is going to his advantage. Lamelo definitely is an all-star level player. He deserves to be an all-star, but I'm not gonna lie, there are some other guys who could possibly make it like over him, but regardless, I'm happy for him. But Fred VanVleet definitely deserves to be over him. I don't care. The first honorable mention I want to mention is Pascal Siakam of the Raptors. Trust me, I really want to put Siakam on this list. I could argue he could probably make it over Jarrett Allen, but the Cavs have just been significantly better than the Raptors, so I think they deserve 2 all-stars more than the Raptors. And trust me, I'm a Raptors fan. I'm not like biased against Siakam. I actually wanted him to make it, but I think there is a real chance he can make it over Allen because I'm not like the final say. I'd be really happy if he made it, but if I was being unbiased, I think Jarrett Allen makes it over him. And the second honorable mention has to go to Boston Celtics forward and Jaylen Brown. He's just playing as good as he did last season, and last season he was an all-star, but I simply don't think the Celtics should get 2 all-stars. They're like the 9th seed right now, even though Jaylen Brown is clearly an all-star level player. I just don't see any forwards who like he should be put above. He's not over Jimmy Butler, and he's not over like Zach LaVine for sure. So sometimes all-star voting just goes to like teams that are winning and like the players there, and individual talent is just not taken into consideration sometimes. But if he makes it, I'm cool with it. He's putting up 24 points on crazy efficiency. He definitely is an all-star level guy, but I feel like he's going to be one of the snub players. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know who you think should make the All-Star team. Drop a like on this video to help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, if you want to reach my goal of 3,000 subscribers. Also, drop a comment on this video as I do respond to all of my comments. And I'm out.